Every time farmer Fatih Sik climbs onto his tractor in Karapanar, Turkey, he knows the ground beneath him could open without warning. 2 giant sinkholes have already torn through his cornfields. His brother was working just meters away when the second one ripped open with what Sik described to AFP as an extremely loud, terrifying rumbling sound. Geologists came to survey his land afterward. They found 2 more sites where the ground is likely to collapse. They could not tell him when. Sik still drives his tractor out every morning. He told reporters that anywhere could sink. I keep thinking about it, and I know I would be dead at the bottom, but I have to work, otherwise my family will starve. Fatih Sik is not alone. Across Turkey's Konya Plain, the most important wheat-producing region in the country, nearly 700 sinkholes have ripped through farmland. Some are over 100 feet wide. Some plunge 165 feet straight down. They are invisible from a distance. You can walk across a flat field of corn and clover and suddenly be standing at the edge of a crater that was not there last season. And here is the part that should unsettle anyone paying attention. Turkey's disaster authority has flagged 1,850 additional sites showing early signs of collapse. The ground beneath Turkey's breadbasket is not just cracking, it is accelerating, and no one can predict where the next hole opens. Here is how it got this bad. Before the year 2000, the Konya Basin saw only a handful of sinkholes per decade. By 2017, Konya Technical University's Sinkhole Research Center had documented 299. By 2021, the broader count, including smaller subsidence formations, had surged past 2,500. NASA's Earth Observatory confirmed that same year that Turkey's water reservoirs had reached their lowest levels in 15 years. Then the collapses started coming faster. By mid-2024, Associate Professor Arif Delikan at Konya Technical University had personally counted 640 sinkholes in Konya province, with more than 600 concentrated in the Karapanar district alone. He told AFP that around 20 new holes had emerged in Karapanar in the past year. He was photographed using a hammer to test the ground at the edge of one. Then, in August 2025, a new sinkhole 15 meters across opened in Sudaragi village, Karaman province. That mattered because Karaman is not Konya. The crisis was spreading. In September, professional climbers descended 40 meters into the Inoba sinkhole in Karapanar to draw public attention to what was happening underground. And then in December 2025, Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority published its most comprehensive assessment yet. They confirmed 684 major sinkholes across Konya, Karaman, and Aksaray. 534 of them were in Karapanar alone. Phase 2 of national sinkhole mapping was underway. But here is what happened 12 days later that changed the picture entirely. On December 22nd, the Chamber of Geological Engineers Konya branch released satellite monitoring data showing that parts of the basin are sinking by up to 10 centimeters per year. Sukru Arslan, head of the Chamber's Konya branch, told Daily Sabah that the Konya closed basin is a subsidence basin and remains actively sinking. He said satellite measurements clearly show annual collapses reaching 10 centimeters. He said it was not a one-off phenomenon. Then he said the part no one wanted to hear. Ground fissures are no longer confined to farmland. They are now appearing in urban districts and industrial zones, including factories in Konya's Karatay district. The Konya closed basin covers roughly 50,000 square kilometers of central Anatolia. It is enormous. The city of Konya sits about 100 kilometers southwest of Karapinar, with a population of 2 million people. The basin itself holds 2.6 million hectares of agricultural land, more than 11% of Turkey's total arable land. The epicenter is Karapanar, where 534 of the confirmed sinkholes cluster. But the crisis has already crossed provincial borders. 20 sinkholes have been documented in Karaman to the south, and 9 more in Aksaray to the northeast. The fissures spreading into Konya city itself mean this is no longer a rural problem contained to open fields. It is advancing toward the population. And this is where it gets worse. Because the sinkholes are not the cause. They are the symptom. Beneath the Konya Plain sits karst bedrock, soluble limestone and gypsum that has been slowly dissolving for centuries, forming underground cavities. For most of recorded history, groundwater filled those cavities and held the surface in place. Think of the water as structural support. Remove the water, and the ceiling has nothing holding it up. That is exactly what has happened. Heavy irrigation for sugar beet, corn, and wheat production has drained the basin's aquifers at a staggering rate. Professor Fethullah Arik, director of the Sinkhole Research Center at Konya Technical University, has tracked the decline for years. In the early 2000s, the water table dropped roughly half a meter per year. Today it is dropping 4 to 5 meters per year, 10 times faster. In Karapanar specifically, Professor Delican measured the decline at 10 to 20 meters annually. But that is only half the collision. The extraction is being driven by drought. NASA confirmed Turkey's reservoirs hit 15-year lows. Rainfall in Konya ran 40% below average over the 2023 to 2024 winter. When it does not rain, the aquifers do not recharge. When the aquifers do not recharge, farmers drill more wells. And here is where the numbers become staggering. According to Professor Arik, approximately 120,000 unlicensed wells operate across the Konya Basin, compared to just 40,000 licensed ones. That is 3 illegal wells for every legal one. Each well pulls water from bedrock that is already hollowing out. Less rain means more pumping. More pumping means faster decline. Faster decline means more sinkholes. And more sinkholes mean less farmland, which means more pressure on the land that remains, which means more wells. It is a spiral, and it is tightening. And even the solution carries a threat. Experts told AFP that even badly needed rainfall could be harmful because rain puts extra pressure on weakened bedrock and can accelerate collapse. The basin is trapped. Drought hollows it out. Rain caves it in. Now consider what is at stake. 684 confirmed sinkholes. 1,850 additional sites flagged for early subsidence. Over 2,600 total formations mapped, including smaller collapses. 2.6 million hectares of farmland at risk, producing 36% of Turkey's wheat and 35% of its beetroot. Ground fissures now cracking through factories in Konya's industrial zones, and satellites showing parts of the basin sinking 10 centimeters every single year. No one has died yet. AFAD Provincial Director Ali Ihsan Korpus stated that, so far, no sinkhole threatening a settlement has been identified. A 27-year-old Afghan shepherd, known only as Omer, grazes his sheep near the sinkholes every day. He told AFP that God forbid, if one falls in, the others will follow. Farmer Yigat Axel stares into the craters in his own fields, knowing that the drilling and irrigation he depends on are partly responsible. He told reporters there are tough days ahead. In a village nearby, a farmer who asked not to be named watched cracks appear in his land in 2018. He reported them. The local council sent workers to cover the area with rocks. 2 years later, the ground collapsed anyway. It sank 20 meters. He was too terrified to sleep in his home that night, but he had nowhere else to go. He still lives there. On January 1st of this year, Karatai municipality officially launched a European Union-funded sinkhole early warning system developed with Konya Technical University. Professor Arik, who leads the project, told Turkey Today that through monitoring stations and satellite observations, they will remotely track surface deformation trends. He cautioned that these signals do not necessarily mean a sinkhole will form, but they enable the early detection of potential risk conditions. It is the first system of its kind for this basin. But spring irrigation season begins in weeks. Groundwater extraction will intensify. and AFAD's Phase 2 mapping is expected to push the confirmed count well beyond 684 as surveys reach new areas of the basin. The question is not whether more sinkholes will open. It is how many, and how close to the 2 million people living in Konya. How many fields in Karapanar are being driven across right now by farmers who know the ground could open beneath them, but have no choice but to keep working? How many underground voids are quietly expanding beneath roads and factories that have never been surveyed? And if Turkey's breadbasket, the land that feeds a nation, is being swallowed from below at 10 times the rate it was 20 years ago, who decides when the cost of growing food here becomes greater than the cost of stopping? The ground beneath the Konya Plain looks the same as it always has: flat, dry, still. But beneath the surface, the water that held it together for centuries is gone. The cavities are empty. The bedrock is dissolving. And every season, the earth drops a little further into the space where the water used to be. Slowly, silently. And with 700 holes already open and 1,800 more forming, the only question left is how much of Turkey's breadbasket will still be standing by the time anyone decides to act.